And good morning. We're interrupting our regularly scheduled programming to bring you some breaking news. I'm Brahm Resnik. The Arizona Department of Health Services just released new numbers connected to the coronavirus outbreak in our state. And folks, I want to let you know that we are entering a new phase right now. DHS reporting that 8 people have died. There are now 508 confirmed cases. 299 of those are Maricopa County. Those numbers are up from yesterday when there were 6 deaths reported and 401 cases confirmed. And for the first time, we're learning Arizona's coronavirus crisis could last at least 2 more months. Health Services Director Dr. Kara Christ said yesterday the peak period for illnesses would start a month from now, from mid-April to the end of April. The peak for hospitalizations would come in mid-May, which will likely leave Arizona hospitals packed. Dr. Christ also warned there's not enough hospital beds or medical equipment to go around. She said the state needs to almost double the current number of hospital beds from 16,000 to 29,000. Also double the number of intensive care unit beds from 1,500 to 3,000. And there are just 1,000 ventilators statewide. Christ wants to boost that to about 5,000. Work is being done on several fronts to obtain that equipment. And we just received this statement from DHS Director Kara Christ. It gets at what I just said, that we are stepping up the response and the warnings about coronavirus. Here's what she had to say. Given widespread transmission, all Arizonans should expect that COVID-19 is circulating in their community. COVID-19 is a serious disease that is highly contagious and can be fatal in anyone, especially our elderly population and people with underlying health conditions. Protecting those at highest risk of complications and ensuring that our healthcare system is prepared to deal with a surge in cases is our highest priority. It is imperative that everyone takes precautions to protect themselves and their family from this disease. Again, the big change this morning, the Health Services Director, Kara Christ, describing this disease outbreak as now widespread. It is in all but 2 counties. It is in all but 2 of Arizona's 15 counties right now. Meantime, Banner Health has been deluged by calls over the last 3 days from people wanting coronavirus tests at one of its 4 Valley locations. The Phoenix New Times reports the healthcare giant has tested several hundred people so far among the thousands who've called a hotline to set up an appointment. Criteria for the testing is narrow. You must have symptoms or a contact with a person who tested positive. And just in a few minutes ago, Governor Doug Ducey announcing a utility protection plan for customers. No customer will have the power to their home shut off during the remainder of the crisis for inability to pay. There are no penalties, late fees, or interest being assessed. And important here in Arizona with APS's rate plans, utility companies will work with customers to provide flexible options for payment and guide them to the right rate plan. We're seeing coronavirus patients overwhelming hospitals in New York City, one of the cities hardest hit by the outbreak. Here in the Valley, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers is already at work evaluating recently closed hospitals, such as St. Luke's downtown, as possible sites for overflow patients. The Department of Health Services is also planning field hospitals in Phoenix and Tucson. The Arizona National Guard getting ready to haul groceries to empty stores in the Valley and Tucson, but we're learning the feds might not pay full freight for those soldiers. In a letter to the Pentagon 2 weeks ago, Governor Ducey sought full federal funding for his activation of up to 5,500 Guard troops through September to help Arizona deal with what he called catastrophic impact of the coronavirus. Phoenix Congressman Greg Stanton now says the Pentagon has agreed to pay for just 3,000 soldiers across the country. That's about 55 per state. Stanton calling on Defense Secretary Mark Esper to reconsider. And longtime Obamacare opponent Doug Ducey now embracing Obamacare. The Republican governor is asking the feds to let Arizonans enroll now for Affordable Care Act insurance. That would help the tens of thousands of people who've lost their jobs in just the last 2 weeks and may have lost their insurance as well. Meantime, Arizona Attorney General Mark Brnovich has joined a federal lawsuit to throw out Obamacare. And speaking of unemployment benefits, more than 3 million Americans applied for them last week. We're getting that news today. That's more than 4 times the previous record. Same news numbers here in Arizona, also smashing records. The Labor Department released those numbers this morning. The massive spike in new jobless claims comes as nationwide lockdowns to halt the spread of the coronavirus have kept Americans from their jobs. Some experts say today's numbers only reflect the tip of the iceberg and expect jobless claims to increase in the coming weeks. Meantime, on Capitol Hill, the Senate has unanimously approved a massive $2 trillion economic relief package. The deal will give direct payments to most Americans, expand unemployment benefits, and assist small businesses. It's also expected to include billions of dollars in assistance for hospitals, as well as corporations that have been hurt by the outbreak. The deal still has to pass the House before heading to the president's desk. So let's recap our breaking news. The Arizona Department of Health Services just releasing new numbers connected to the coronavirus outbreak in our state. Here's another look. DHS reporting that 8 people have died. There are now 508 confirmed cases statewide. 299 of those are in Maricopa County. Those numbers are up from yesterday when there were 6 deaths reported, 401 confirmed cases. The state public health director saying the disease is now widespread in Arizona. Assume it is in your community. And let's take a closer look at the numbers here in Maricopa County. Again, 299 confirmed cases. That's up from 251 yesterday. The county reports for deaths, 58 people hospitalized and 20 in the intensive care unit. Those numbers have also been rising over the last several days. And stay with 12 News for the latest. Don't forget, you can text the word FACTS to 602-444-1212. When you do, you'll be sent a link to our complete coronavirus coverage.